Welcome. Welcome back to this exciting informational summit to round out 2024, moving on into 2025. We are here today with the lovely and brilliant Dr. Mary Ayers. And Doc, I'm going to tell you something. This is a fabulous audience. Everyone is hopefully today, this is a day-to-day decision, right? Willing to listen, to really listen with an open mind in order to get to a place of calm and get to a place where we're coachable to really and truly make the most of the information you shared today. Y'all, Dr. Mary, or Doc, I'm going to start calling her. She uses tapping as a tool to get us to the right mindset in order for us to transition properly, not just from year to year, but maybe day to day, week to week, season to season. She's wonderful. So sit back, put everything aside, and be ready to receive this beautiful information. Doc, thank you for being here. Here we come. It's the end of the year. It's the holidays for many. It is time to start thinking about the next year. Immediately I can take myself, if I'm not careful, we can move right into anxiety. Goodness, we have so much to do. We hope for so much. Please, if you will, help us get to a place of being in the present moment, appreciative of where we are, and in the mindset of one step at a time, moving forward as we transition from season to season with the right mindset.
I think, first of all, it's wonderful to be here. I'm happy to be able to talk about these things. We were talking earlier about, the transition, whether it's holidays for people. The fact is that, a new year is a new beginning, and we all see it that way, no matter what. We have that sense of, okay, now it's a new slate. And, it's not unusual, like we were talking about, for people to kind of want to set up some goals. And what am I going to do? What's my next step around things? And, which I think we know the value of that, right? Research has showed us time and time again how valuable it is for people to have some goals. But I'll tell you, my experience for all these decades has been some people just literally choke when you talk about some goals. They may know it consciously that it's a good thing or something that would be helpful for them to go into that new year, setting themselves up for manifesting what they want, or creating what they want. But they also tend to, hurdle that I often see is that they start to bring their feelings about goals, setting things up for the future. It's coming with some garbage attached. And so they're not in the best place for really being able to move forward. Whenever we have, right, the minds, we store that kind of stuff, were we successful before? Personally, I can remember when we were moving, I was going through some papers and I found this sheet of paper, had all these goals on it. And as I looked at it, I thought to myself, oh my God, I don't think any of these things, I really just, I don't know if any of them came. But I did realize this. I was writing it down like a Christmas list. I was like, okay, I would, just like you would for Santa, okay, I would like these things. And never gave thought about hanging it, putting a plan together, taking any kind of action. I was just going to say, here, somehow I'm going to declare these things and they would come. Now I'm sure, it wasn't very sophisticated then, and I'm a lot of people, know better now. But still those old feelings of how disappointed I was, how, that I didn't get it done, feelings about myself, feelings about, how does all of this work? And that's the kind of hurdle I see people coming in with, is they take their disappointments forward into these new plans. But that's like looking, in driving forward, but looking in the rearview mirror. It gets in the way. And it gets in a way that most of us can intellectualize but it does not translate to shifting in your body.
Mm.
Okay. And that's when we talk about a mindset, it's not just that idea and clarity. It's have I set my body up? Because it's almost like they get out of sync, right? This one says go forward. And, everybody knows this feeling is that my body's not doing it. I know what to do. I'm not doing it. And I go, my body's got a foot on the brake. My head's saying, oh, let's make plans. That sounds like fun.
Hmm.
Okay. So, how do we get the body involved and help it move forward? As you'd say for me, is, what tool are we going to use? And for me, I've used the tapping tool. Some people may be familiar with it, some may not. But it's the one that actually addresses the body and can help us get that alignment so that we're moving smoothly ahead.
Well, that's what the goal is. I know that, I guess I can't speak for 100% of the people, but 98% of people want to move forward smoothly.
Mhm.
Force becomes exhausting.
Mhm.
It's exhausting. And if tapping, and it's interesting, I have practiced tapping a little bit with a mentor, but I don't do it consistently.
Mhm.
I have to, I'm ready to kind of tack that on to a habit that I already have. And that
Mhm.
helps for me. I like habit stacking.
Yes.
And I would love for you to share with us a tapping experience that would kind of introduce us. Maybe, I mean, you're the expert. Should we do have the audience? Should we participate in a tapping now to open our mind to your instruction?
I think absolutely. You said something really important, which is it doesn't seem to be for you, to kind of get into that natural rhythm of things. And I think that anything that's new of anything that's, when we're trying to create a habit, I like to keep the tapping being as simple as I can, although, because then we are more likely to use something on a regular basis. And there's ways for us to do that. But once you've done it and you recognize some of the benefits, right, which is basically it helps calm your nervous system. If I was to just make a statement about tapping, it was that it calms our nervous system. And when we do things that we think are going to be hard or painful or have, you know, we're going to regret and be disappointed, our our mind is set up to say, well, if it's going to hurt like that, I don't want to do it.
Mm-mm.
We're trying to push. I want people to see we're trying to push against that current. And I say to people, it's like saying, it's kind of a grisly metaphor. I go, it's like saying, put your hand on this hot stove. It's going to hurt, but you're going to have to do this every single day to keep yourself in action. After a while, our head says, never mind, I don't want that.
Hmm.
If it's going to hurt me, if it's going to be full of anxiety, if it's going to be the chance of embarrassment, if it's going to mean that I may feel humiliated or stupid or not good enough, any of these things, right? Is that at some point, as you try to continue to push through, your mind's going to say, you know what, maybe I just don't want it. I don't care. And then we lose people who have great purposes and can really impact others' lives in their own. And
Mm.
my mission has been, I don't want people to feel that's the only way to push through. There is an easier way, it's a softer way. And on top of it, when you utilize the idea of being able to calm your nervous system when you're thinking of something, the action becomes effortless. And
Mhm.
better, it can even become fun because you're not having to push through the old crud.
Mhm. Yeah, and as we transition into this end of this year and into the next year, how nice to be able to calm the nervous system,
Mhm.
When we sit down to focus on our hopes, dreams, goals, targets, whatever we are hoping to realize into through the 12 months of the next year,
Mhm.
and to calm before we dive into this planning and, the
Ex-
things that we do have to do, but to do it with a calm, grounded sense of being.
Mhm.
Oh, just wonderful. Okay, I'm so excited. So tell us what to do.
Perfect. And we're not going to talk really about, what tapping is. I'm just going to say to you, follow through. If you're driving or you're distracted right now, listen to the words that I'm saying, though. Okay? And so we're just going to start out. We call it tapping here at the Karate Chop. Okay? And you just tap there and you're going to repeat after me. And Carol, you'll be my person who's going to repeat. And we'll just go from there. Okay?
Okay.
Even though I have a history of not sticking to my goals,
Ooh, even though I have a history of not sticking to my goals,
and I'm carrying all of this doubt and frustration,
and I'm carrying all this doubt and frustration,
carrying it forward into the new year,
carrying it forward into the new year,
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
accept where I am,
accept where I am,
and I'm open
and I am open
to creating a new way forward.
to creating a new way forward.
Nicely done. We're going to take two fingers. You're just going to do them here at the eyebrow. Just again, let's just follow along. I am so frustrated with my pattern of giving up.
I am so frustrated with my pattern of giving up.
Why can't I stick to things?
Why can't I stick to things?
All these unfinished goals
All these unfinished goals
certainly feels overwhelming.
certainly feels overwhelming.
Maybe I'm just not good at following through.
Maybe I'm just not good at following through.
I'm carrying all of this disappointment.
I'm carrying all of this disappointment.
What if I fail again?
What if I fail again?
At top of the head, all this heaviness from
All
past attempts.
this heaviness in the past tense.
But what if these past attempts weren't failures?
But what if these past attempts weren't failures?
Maybe they were just practice rounds.
Maybe they were just practice rounds.
Each time I learned something new,
Each time I learned something new,
and I'm not the same person as I was then.
and I'm not the same person as I was then.
I can do things differently now.
I can do things differently now.
Mm, I could choose a gentler approach,
I could choose a gentler approach,
one that sets me up for success.
one that sets me up for success.
I am ready to create a new pattern.
I am ready to create a new pattern.
I'm willing to take small steps
I'm willing to take small steps
because those small steps build momentum.
because those small steps build momentum.
I don't have to see the whole path.
I don't have to see the whole path.
I just need to see the next step.
I just need to see the next step.
And I don't have to do it perfectly.
And I do not have to do it perfectly.
Each action adds up,
Each action adds up,
and I can trust the process.
and I can trust the process.
I'm safe taking one step at a time.
I'm safe taking one step at a time.
Take a big breath. Okay. Now just think about goals. I had said to you, some people just even, they feel tense, they feel sweaty, they can feel their nervous system, anxiousness coming up, even talking about goals. Think about them now. Feel how your body feels about that.
I feel very good. I feel very grounded.
Uh-huh. Very nice. Because, that's when our nervous system can approach a topic from a calm way, it gives us permission to do things at our pace. It gives us permission to take an action from a place where we are literally training our system on how to, its relationship to action. So instead of having anxious and action coming together, what we're doing is we're retraining it. So we're able to reframe it from something that is exciting to do, looking forward to do, a blessing to do.
I love the relationship to action. That is incredible. Um, I'll bet the audience agrees to hear it that way. You
Mhm.
think about any of us that think about our relationships, and there are those relationships that cause anxiety. And we are all, um, hopefully, looking for ways to be accountable to turn that relationship around. What can we do differently to create calm here? And that is what you are sharing with us by placing this relationship to action, creating a calm
Mhm.
and grounded place to then communicate with ourselves, mind and body, to move forward in action, like you said, calmly and then joyfully. How
Yes.
beautiful.
And for some people that's going to feel like I didn't even know I could do that. That because I've done it from a different state. The biggest thing that we can realize is we can change our state and do things differently. And when that happens, like you said, it becomes it's like a new world. It's like a paradigm shift. You wake up into, I never knew it could be like that. Now I can get really into my heart. Now I can ask the questions about who do I want to be? What do I want to bring forth? Because I know that I've got the green light to do it.
Yes, and you're looking forward to doing it. So with this experience, and I think I'm not going to be in a recording after this, and I may go, in this beautiful state of mind, I may carve out 30 minutes just to do a little bit of writing, as I like to write, to think before I
Yes.
put it all into action, into the goal setting. This is wonderful because I believe it's going to support not only this beautiful relationship with action, getting us into the correct mindset, it's going to allow us, if we are willing to practice.
Yeah.
You said something pre show to me today, and it was about this transition and this practice, and how tapping kind of relates to how you look at line dancing. Please share with the audience. That was just
Oh, goodness.
a comparison. And
So
whether
the
you do
background,
line dancing or not, y'all are going to love this.
yeah. The background on that is that I've been a line dancer for about 8 years. And I was saying, we were talking about things, and I said, um, you know, I do some things at the end of the year that transition me from this year and set me up for that success in the next year, right? And we just did some of that, right? Just recognizing what's the baggage I'm carrying that gets in the way of the goals. And I had made the statement that when you're dancing, we have this, you do a certain wall or a certain count of dances. Maybe it's 32 counts of a dance, and it's repetition, right? Year after year after year, it's repetition. And
Like
you
the
go wall to,
tapping, we were repeating.
yeah. So we're going, from this wall to the next wall to the next wall. And I said, but the most important thing is to be able to seamlessly tie things together, and with what we call transitions, right? That I'm moving from one into the other fluidly, gracefully, and it just becomes this ongoing thing. And so it was very apt for, what the tapping allows us to do, or at these times where we say, let me release what I no longer need to move forward so that I have this wonderful flow from year to year that is filled with, the good feelings, a sense of self-trust building, continuity, taking steps, in a way that feels good. And we all know, right, is that it's doing things like that over and over that allow you to build so something then takes shape. You're not
Mm,
always knocking down something and then having to rebuild it and gets knocked
mm,
down. It's that you want that progressive movement.
mm. So fabulous. And one of the when I was repeating what you were saying, I loved at one point you said in order to take small steps.
Mhm.
And I am an enormous proponent of
Yeah,
small steps.
yeah.
You know, I wish I could pull up a photograph. There's a photograph of a ladder, and it's with the small steps you can hold on.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
there's another ladder next to it. You can't even reach up with your hand in order to help you take this big giant step.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the anxiety comes from, oh goodness, at the end of the next year, I hope these three enormous things have been accomplished, that I have reached these three goals that I've worked on for so long. Well, the minute you sit down, if you think your step, if you're thinking that you need to be tomorrow where you hope to be at the end of the year,
Yeah.
that first of all, it's no fun and it's nothing but stress. And to allow ourselves, like in your line deck dancing, it's one step at a time, whatever the count is. And if we allow ourselves to take small steps, we will get there.
Mhm.
And if we ground, I mean, goodness, Doc, if we all used your tapping to ground, we would then, as you said, very seamlessly and with calm take another step, because we would build this relationship joyfully, a joyful relationship with the action of taking the next step.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now I know we're out of getting so close. You have a challenge that you do at the end of the year that kind of continues. Would you please share with the audience about that?
I would be happy to. When we talk about what gets in our way, and there are lots of things that get in the way. Even taking small steps can sometimes get in the way. And here's how people, they get frustrated because they think, I'm not making enough progress. Again, if we can remember that, stuff like that feels bad in the body and the body's responses to, the mind's responses, well, then stop doing it. Then that's something that you can tap on. Very, very tappable. Okay. And again, it's the energy around the thought. And when that happens, things get a little clogged up. So I always do a challenge. It's my third year of doing the challenge at the end of the year. It starts December 26th and it goes to the first of the year. And it's an I am enough. We call it, it's an I am enough. And it's about embedding a belief of enoughness. It's very, I've been in this field for almost 40 years. And I would say the belief that we are not enough is so corrosive.
Mm,
And we all carry it to some degree. Okay. And so we need to build it. It's something we need to be more proactive in saying, I need to have that belief. And as we said, not in my head, I need it throughout my whole body. Okay. And so it's a tapping, and I do it every year to be able to get people set up as they go into the new year. I think it's the basis of self-esteem. I think it's the basis of confidence. I think it's the basis of our willingness to be seen, to be put a shine a line on us so that we can help others. Is you've got to feel enough. You've got to feel that you're worthy, that you're deserving. And that's not just words, because our head might say, I know that, but we have a way to help the body assimilate those beliefs. And this challenge starts the day after Christmas. I know it's a busy time, but it's the week right before you transition right into the new year. And it'll take more than 7 days, but it will start people on the habit. And that's my goal.
That's beautiful. I love habits, building habits. I do it
Mhm.
through habit stacking. And my goodness gracious, if we become willing to create a habit that predictably will create more calm and help us to be more successful throughout the new year.
Life, yes.
I mean, gracious sakes, what
Yeah.
I just, these statistics, and I know the audience has heard me say it before, but only 5%, it turns out, of people that, whether you call it New Year's resolutions or you have these goals and you have all these wonderful hopes and dreams for the new year, 5% actually complete.
Mhm.
32%, we're down to a group of 32% by March. So the audience, we are all here in order to get information on how do we grow that 5% to a larger number? How do we set up for success, spiritually, personally, professionally, physically, mentally? How do we set up for that success? And audience, I don't know about y'all, but that I hope, number one, that you were able to do the beautiful and very simple, that's also key,
Yeah.
practice this tapping that, you know, Doc gave to us. I will definitely watch this recording and practice that again. Sign up for the challenge. Let's do everything that we can to set ourselves up for success into the next year. But as the doctor has said, set up for more success in life, more calm, more groundedness. Um, we can do this, but we have to be willing, right? Is that the tricky part? Is the willingness?
I think we come willing and we understand the principles. What I love about, why I wanted to bring this tapping is it's what gets in the way is what we've collected in life. And the more experience if you had, it creates more clutter
Mm,
energetically, and it creates more clutter. And so when we lighten our load, and again, not just intellectually, but it's stored in the body as we are able to move through that kind of clutter, that's when it really frees us. There's a reason it's called emotional freedom techniques, because it's the freedom you have when you are not buried in whatever accumulations that you've had. And I think that's true when you're free, you get to become anything you want to be.
that's right. Oh my goodness, I have so many more questions. I'm sorry that this is the end of our time. Thank you so very much. And I know the audience is so appreciative. By the way, your voice is so beautifully calming.
Oh,
And
thank
so,
you. Thank
oh
you.
my goodness gracious. And I know so generously you have shared, the audience will have, of course, the links to be able to follow you, to be able to get in touch with you, to hopefully begin this practice. I'll bet many will sign up for this wonderful challenge. And any last words before we close our time together?
I think that you've said it so beautifully, and I hope I love to be able to introduce people to tapping if you're new to it. It's just such, I feel blessed to be able to do that. I feel privileged that you've had me on so that I'm able to do that. I think that just people taking the time to listen here shows the potential they know that they have, and I hope that then they feel comfortable stepping into it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you, audience. Can't wait to get comments from each and every one of you. And Doctor, Thank you. Oh, goodness. You know what I wanted to tell? Please tell the audience the name of my favorite name of one of your books.
Oh, it's it was a radio show that I did for many, many years. And it was called The Chicken Shit's Guide to Success.
Y'all, do you not love that? Let's be brave. Let's give this a real try. Let's be consistent, build a habit. And, you know, the better we do, the better those around us will do. And so, to each of you in the audience and to you, Doctor, thank you so very much.
Thank you. It's been a privilege.
Oh my goodness, a mine. Thank you.